Happy morning. How's everyone doing today? I've been tweaking all of my different settings on the various things, trying to get a number set up so you all can call in. And now I'm trying to figure out what's happening. How were your weekends? Did you have a good one? I hope so. I had a great weekend. My daughter has found neighborhood friends, and so she has started leaving the nest. She has started going out into the world. That off, I am hearing my audio in my own ear, which is strange. Turn off that. There we go. I don't need to hear anything. Hopefully you all can hear it, which is the point. Oh, I do want to hear from you as well. Yeah, you see it, right? Dunder Mifflin coffee cup. Yep, found that yesterday at the store. It was placed in a place where one would not find coffee cups. So, right, I mean, supposed to have found it. It was there for me. That was a sign. So can I tell you about the time that we met Yaakov and Miriam in the woods camping? So let me make sure. I think I got everything set here. I'll tell you the story of Miriam and Yaakov in the Red River Gorge in Kentucky. Oh, good. So we were hiking. I think it was the 8-hour day, maybe 10-hour day when we did the big circle hike around. It might have been the next day. Oh, now that I'm actually saying that, I think it was the next day because we ended up having to leave. So we had already spent that big day. So I think it was that next day we were going to go look for like a still, an old abandoned still. But we were definitely many hours into another hike into the Red River Gorge. So it was not a short hike by any means. So well into the forest, we came upon the spot where the still was supposed to be. Go to the left for the still, and the trail went to the right. And I can't remember who went which way, but I went one way looking. My wife went the other way looking, and I just remember walking, and then suddenly there was this pain in my foot. I was like, what is that? Burning, just burning pain. Then I look down and I'm wearing Keens with holes in them. Not wise to do when you're hiking and there are things out there that can bite you or hurt you. And wouldn't you know that a big old wasp, a big old thing, bright blue, shiny metallic on it, those solitary wasps, those solitary animals, right? Those are the ones that mess you up. Big solitary tiger, yeah, that'll whoop a lion any day, right? Lions have mates to back them up. Tiger, So that big old wasp packs a lot of punch, and it hurt so bad. My foot just on fire. It hurt. So after looking at the still, which I believe, yeah, it was hurting, and I was like, all right, let's turn it around. We'll start hiking out. So as we are hiking out, we run into these two folks who are dressed as if they just came, I don't know, from church, just from not like a night out on the town for them, because it was like dressed up, but like not extravagant. So they were very Jewish. Yaakov and Miriam, right? And they were hiking in the middle of the woods in suits. She was in her dress. He had the payas, the whole thing, and we meet them and we say hello and we start talking to them. And he shook my hand and I tried to reach out and shake her hand and she gave me a look and did not make contact with me. And after a little bit of talking, he finds out my name, which is Joshua. Happy's my nickname, friends. And though I'm thinking about changing it, What do you think? Huh? Um, but he finds out and he says, Joshua, You Jewish? Which I reply, well, my mother's Jewish. Ah, your mother's Jewish. Hmm. Now, my mother was adopted into a Jewish family, and she was raised Jewish. I've had many debate with people on whether or not that would make me Jewish, as it were. I've never gotten a DNA test, so I don't know where my ancestry lies. But I know my religious ancestry. Um, if it lies there at all, it lies there, ancillarily, if that's a word, as much as it does in Catholicism. Because I've never been baptized, I've never been to synagogue, never did any of those things. Been to church a bunch of times with friends when I slept over at their houses. Parents always made me go with them to church in the morning, so I'd go up, a little cookie and stuff. I don't think it's supposed to. But either way, Miriam and Yaakov, they were wonderful, and we after he finds out that my name is Joshua, and that my mother is Jewish, and he says, oh, your mother's Jewish, and I was like, yeah, but I've never, I don't practice, I don't consider myself Jewish, I don't, I'm not religious. I didn't go so far as to tell him that I'm an atheist, but that I don't practice religion. I'm not. He goes, your mother's Jewish, your name's Joshua, and he does one of these. He looks up at the sky, and it was one of the greatest moments of my life because I've only ever seen this in like movies. Well, the old guy, right, pointing at the sky. Oh, this guy up there. So he decides, since I had mentioned that I'd never been bar mitzvahed or been to synagogue or any of those things, that now, in fact, would be the perfect time. So I'm still not exactly sure on what transpired. I have evidence of it. We have video of it. Excuse me. But he wrapped the tefillin around me, right? My arm, my head. We read some scripts. We read some scrolls together. I said some Hebrew, I believe. And it was a fantastic performance, right? That's what we got together, and we did this little. I'm a theater actor, friend, so that is, religion is performance at the end of the day. It's got scripts, it's got rules, it's got roles that we all play, it's got costumes, it's got lights. It is performance, and we could talk about that. But that's what we did in the middle of the Red River Gorge. We did this little performance. It put this thing right. So there was a big little box goes right on my head, and he wraps it up. Got my arm wrapped up in leather, little box, and then I'm reading it with him. But the whole time, what had happened to me 30 minutes beforehand? Who remembers? Raise your hand. For those of you playing the home game, I'd gotten stung by a large solitary wasp. And I haven't been stung by a bee or a wasp in a long time. I mean, I never really had a problem with that before. Never had a reaction to a bee. I got stung by a lot of bees as a kid. Grew up in Chicagoland, and my gosh, I remember getting stung by a lot of bees. But this day, my foot was hurting a lot, and I started to itch a lot. Like a lot. Like my breath was fine, right? So breathing okay, no need to freak out, friends. But my itching. So as I'm being bar mitzvahed or whatever, so I've some people have told me that I've now been bar mitzvahed. Some people have told me no, that's not at all what it was. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure on what I did that day in the woods. Yeah, so, but it was great, and it was a wonderful human experience that we shared with Miriam and Yaakov. But the whole time I was having an allergic reaction to a wasp that I had been stung by. So after we wrapped up our time with Miriam and Yaakov, and I again extended my hand to shake Miriam's hand, and this time she actually did shake my hand, and then Yaakov gave her a hard look, I would say. I don't know, he was a kind, gentle old man, but he gave her a look that was not so kind and gentle. That was like, why did you touch him? I don't know. I thought maybe he just purified me so she could touch me. I don't know exactly what happened. But then we parted ways, and when we got back to the campsite, I told my wife, I was like, I really itch. Can you? And I took off my shirt, and I was just covered in hives. We have a photo of that too, just covered in them. Oh, it was awful. And then we drove home in pouring rain. That was just blinding to the point where we had to stop at a gas station and get new wiper blades for the car. For those of you who have also been in that situation before, that's pleasant. We bought Rain-X one time. They didn't have wiper blades, but they had Rain-X. That was the time we learned about Rain-X and how effective it is. And why don't we just have Rain-X instead of windshield wipers? That's another show. Tell me about your lovely days. I am currently waiting, by the way, for the appliance repairman. Our 1-year-old dishwasher has stopped working. So first world problem, certainly. Um, but yeah, so that 1-year-old dishwasher. Now I had gotten a window that's at 8 to 4. Monday, your appointment is Monday, 8 to 4. That's what I like. A nice easy time. 8 to 4, I'll make myself available. But I got to call nice and early, 8 a.m. on the dot. And they scheduled it between 10 and noon. So I now await patiently. And that is why I thought, you know what? Let us hop on to Happy Murphy's Happy Day and start our day in a happy way. Because that's what we do here in the Murphy household. How do you start your day in a happy way? Well, a little meditation always helps. A little 5 minutes. Connecting to your breath, connecting to your body, right? Reminding yourself that right now in the world, in your room, you're awaking. Unless the walls are physically falling in on you, everything's actually okay right now. Even if I know I might have a lot of stressors later in the day, right now everything's okay in this moment. So when we wake up, we remind ourselves, A, that we're happy to be alive. I woke up yesterday. I was so glad. Name that movie. But we practice mindfulness and gratefulness in the morning. What are we grateful for? What are we happy for? What are we going to work on? Right? Set yourself up with those thoughts for the day. What are we going to do with this day? That the day's not just going to go by without some intention behind it, but put a little thought, a little intention behind it. You make a huge world of difference in how you see the day, especially when you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, as it were. I haven't slept well in like 4 days now. And, what are you going to do, right? You got stuff to do. Gotta get up, gotta go, gotta move, stretch, move around, breathe. And remember how lucky we are and how fortunate I am to be able to be sitting here hearing a bird singing outside. And what do birds say when they sing? Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing are gonna be alright. Name that song. Oh, coffee. Coffee's weird. Coffee's weird. Getting old's weird. Becoming an adult is weird because you're a C adult, B adult, and then you're an adult. And like as a C adult and a B adult, I definitely did not like coffee at all. It was disgusting. Much like beer, some of those other adult tastes. But coffee, oh yeah, no, this was one that definitely took me many, many, many years to acquire a taste for. But then once I did, sweet nectar of the gods now. That is what I will say. I will reference the gods when I talk of coffee. And really, it was my wife who got me the coffee bug. And really, she just, said simply what most people who understand coffee said, which was that I had never had a properly made cup of coffee. And she was absolutely right. I had only ever experienced, blah, 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 coffee from McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts. Occasionally, on a really, really tired day, if I had a late rehearsal or a late show, perhaps with a lot of energy required, I would get a coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, and it would be loaded with cream and sugar, and it would definitely, for the caffeine. I didn't want soda sometimes, so I would go with coffee, but very rarely. That was literally only on the most tiredest of days, and that was just some cream and sugar with a little bit of coffee. Yeah, and then when I met my current wife, she knew. She just said, no. You clearly have not had a good cup of coffee. And she was very correct. The first time I tried it, it was delicious. She made me a nice little French press cup of coffee. It was done. Good. Yep. And here we are many years later. But I'm weird. I don't like hot at all. Hot coffee. No. It's not even like sensitive teeth. I don't know. I just don't like excessively hot or excessively cold things. They're not pleasant to me. The hot, it just burns, so I don't understand. I don't understand how people drink hot stuff like without burning themselves. And they, I've watched the technique, the blow, the this, the whatever. No, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but at some point, hot scalding liquid goes into my mouth and burns me. So that was a technique that I just gave up on. And I rather enjoy iced coffee and cold coffee. So I fill this thing half with cold water and then fill it up with coffee the rest of the way. How's the world today? What's happening in the world today, friends? What do we got? Do we have any news you want to share? I'll look in the news real quick and see what's happening. Oh, is it a happy day today? It is for me. Is it for the world, though? We'll find out here. Oprah! Emmys. Ugh, royals. I don't care in the slightest about the royal family. Not in the slightest. It's really, and I think I said this in one of my last streams talking about Shakespeare, that it amazes me that the British have just held on to that royal family. That unlike so many, well, I shouldn't say unlike so many people in the world, there's a lot of kings and queens left in this country or in the world, aren't there? Which is just stunning to me. That when the people realized that they should have a voice, that they did not overthrow the czars as they did in Russia, and take back what was rightfully theirs. Not that I wanted the violence of all these people. Yeah, that the British doubled down on it, and then boom. Once more into the breach, dear friends. Once more. Close the wall up with our English dead. In peace, nothing so becomes a man as stillness and humility. But when the blast of war blows in our ears, then stiffen sinew, summon up the blood, disguise fair nature with hard-favored bed. Lend the eye a terrible aspect, but pry through the portage of the head like the brass cannon. Yeah, that's why Shakespeare wrote those kings and queens into history. They're amazing. Well, let's see here. Narcissism contagious. Yep. Who knew? Narcissism. So let's talk about narcissism for a moment. Part of what I see as one of the huge problems in this world is that people have a bubble around them. And it's hard for most people to see outside of that bubble, and to be aware of what their actions do in the world. Little tiny actions, like holding doors for people, saying thank you, I appreciate you, asking people how their day is going, but actually meaning it, not being in a rhetorical, how you doing? Not actually caring what the response is. So when I see that narcissism can be contagious, of course it can, right? And we need people to extend outside of their bubble. So our neighbors, we live in a little tiny, we're tiny house people, and we love our tiny neighborhood. We love where it is. We don't live in a tiny house, but we live in a condo. It's a little fourplex, right? So a shared wall, right? We have one shared wall with a neighbor. Actually, I should say two shared walls because there's 4 units here. And it's wonderful, but one of the units consistently gets rented out yearly. And last year there were some college students who definitely played some music late nights. Only a couple times. It really was not a problem. It was great. And the folks that moved in have really been considerate. And when they moved in, the lady had a talk with us about the kids that were there before, and the noise and this and that, and that she's got children and no. Now, to be honest, at the time, we both thought that this lady was kind of a wreck, just with what she had going on, the presentation she gave to the world. Just seemed like she had a lot of things going on in her life, as we all do, right? So be that as it may, I thought she was going to be a wonderful neighbor, and she's been okay. She got all touchy about a parking spot one day that we weren't parking in. Somebody else had parked in a parking spot. We get an assigned parking spot underneath some shade, and she got all not puffy with me, but just bitching about. She'd never parked in that spot, not once. To this day, she has never parked in that spot, not once. Once. I'm like freaked out about this car parking there. We were double parking, and we just happened to catch each other outside. And I'm like, go ask him to move. The car's on. So I started to realize that her bubble was very, when she parks her car in front of the unit that she shares, right next door, there's another person there, and just parks her car at an angle over a bunch of spots. And it's not that it's not a problem. Right? The neighbor next door has plenty of room in front of her door to park, but maybe the neighbor next door is going to have somebody over that day, and would like that next parking spot available. Right? It's just being considerate, knowing that you're in the world with other human beings, and that you populate this world with other minds who are thinking and hopefully being rational. And then, oh gosh, so 3 weeks ago, she mentioned that she was in a band. This was way back when. Sorry, when we met, she mentioned she was in a band because we're theater actors. We always tell, see, We always tell our neighbors that we're theater actors and that we can be loud at times, practicing singing monologues, whatever it is. So if we are ever disrupting, please come over and let us know. You won't offend us. We know that sometimes we are booming voices, and we may be even rehearsing a scene, and it sounds like there's violence happening or something, or anger. Just come and knock. Make sure everything's good. It probably is. We're actors. And she mentioned she was a singer. Fantastic. She's in a band. Great. So 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, no, 3 weeks ago now, we'll see this Wednesday what happens. Band practice began Wednesday at 6 p.m. Now, when I say band practice, I mean like band practice, like metal band practice. Oh, hold on. 1 second. I got a note here. I want to see something real good. Great. I gotta answer an email from my daughter's school teacher here for 1 second. So bear with me, friends. Hey, friends who joined us, how are you there playing the home game? I'm currently responding to an email from my daughter's teacher. So give me a moment here, and we will get back on track. Excellent. So I got to remember what it was that we were talking about on this happy morning. Um, oh gosh, having a bubble, being outside of our own bubble, right? Our neighbors who started band practice. We'll see. So last Wednesday or two Wednesdays ago, 6 p.m. Boom, 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 these drums just start booming. Like, oh, hell is that? Drums, very loud drums, and then a bass guitar. Now we love music. I love bass and I love drums. Let's do this. However, there is a reason that bands will rent studio space to go practice their music because it's loud, and we share a common wall. So literally, it's shaking. Now, I figure, hey, this is fine. Do your thing. 6 p.m. Okay, it's fine. Now I do have a 6-year-old who goes to bed at 7 p.m. So maybe we start winding down at 6 p.m. We start reading at 6:30. So like 7 p.m. comes, and yeah, wouldn't you know, nothing. 8 p.m. comes. Wait, stop. 9 p.m. comes. Now, but by this time, the 6-year-old is asleep, thankfully. 10 p.m. comes. Not 10 p.m. I'm about an hour past when I typically fall asleep. So I was going to go over there and knock. 10 p.m. on the dot, shuts off, it stops. I'm like, all right. 10 p.m. though, like 10 p.m. on a Wednesday night. That's just, so all week I thought about it. I'm like, if this happens again, I'm going to have to go say something. Because really, my daughter needs to go to bed. And it was disruptive to her. 8:30, she's all, Dad, I can't go to sleep. No. So at 6 p.m. So at 8 p.m., I walked over because the day went on for 2 hours. And then at 8 p.m., I went over and I was like, and I was very amicable. And I would like to think I was, I would like to think that I was approachable, as I tend to be. And yet, I go over, knock on the door, she walks out, and like, oh, are you, like, yeah, I'm your neighbor right there. Yeah, I'm the one who lives, behind you. Talk to me. Said, oh yeah, hey, what can I do for you? Well, we do share a common wall. So, and I'm as nicely as I can, as I say, I'm like, look, we share a common wall, and I want to be supportive of your band, and I want you to sing, and I want you to do your thing. However, we share a common wall, and it's shaking right now. And I have a daughter; she's 6. She's trying to sleep, and right now she's not, and she's being upset that she can't get to sleep because the walls are shaking. Um, to which she replies, "I have a 6-year-old too, and she's here supporting me." Okay. My 6-year-old supports me too, and I'm glad yours is supporting you. Um, but it is, no, it was 9 o'clock. It wasn't even 8 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock at night because that was what I thought. I'm like, that's great that your 6-year-old supports you, but like, it's 9 o'clock at night. Maybe your 6-year-old should be asleep, and you shouldn't be having band practice in your house where your 6-year-old is probably going to school tomorrow morning. It is what it is. But this bubble surrounding her. Um, so as a mother, I would have expected her to show some concern that she was affecting a 6-year-old child with her behavior. None. No, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh, none of that. No, it was all about me, quite frankly, and my child. And oh, but this is the only time we can do this. What can you guys? Can you like have a pillow? Or you want me to put a pillow over my child or myself? Like, what are you talking about? Um, I'm like, no, no. I'm like, you guys need to have practice on the weekends. You can be as loud as you want on the weekends, until about 6 p.m. or so, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Excuse me, weekends, 8 p.m. Go for it. But she says, no, it's 10 p.m. here. No, it is absolutely not. I have the bylaws and I have the rules and the CCNRs, and I know it's not 10 p.m. As a matter of fact, there is no time limit here in my complex for uh, being quiet, for being intrusive and disruptive, right? You're never allowed to disrupt other people's peaceful and quiet use of their property, quiet enjoyment. Yeah. So she just has no bubble. She has no awareness of anything outside of herself. And it sucks. It sucks. And it's such a problem with the world. So that was my rant for the day about yeah, about getting our bubbles. Yeah, about the narcissism, right, that is rampant in society. That she just has no awareness of what is going on outside the bubble. How? Like, how do you not know? And how, if you were finding out as a mother that you were hurting a child, that you wouldn't have said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What? Yeah, I'll take care of it." Instead I hear her go back in and, "Oh, my neighbors, they should." All right, let's see what other kind of happy news we have this morning. Happy news. Happy birthday, Jung. I don't know who that is. That's a BTS person. That's a Korean band. I think that much I know. Um, hey, the CDC says I can get together with my friends. That's fantastic, isn't it? Because I am fully vaccinated. My friends are hopefully going to be fully vaccinated soon, and then I will be able to. We can be able to hang out soon. That'll be great. Yeah, my daughter hasn't seen her buddies in over a year, which is crazy to think because they like we missed like all of 5 and like 5.5, 6, 5, 6. We missed the whole year. When we see them, they're all going to be just so much grown little people. There's two other babies in the bunch. They're all going to be not babies anymore. And like, mm, mm. All right, what we got here? Do you like to read the news in the morning? Do you read the news in the morning? Does it help? You know, do you see? Does it help put you in a good mental place for the day? Where would you move to if you can move someplace? Where would you go? What do you think? Been in the desert for a while now, but I sure like the mountains. Sure like the mountains, friends. I grew up where it was flat. There were no mountains. It was just grass, and then I could see the Sears Tower from my house. Well, not from my house, but quickly when we got onto the Kennedy Expressway to get to downtown Chicago, you could see the Sears Tower. With Willis Tower nowadays, right? I never knew it as that. I only ever knew it as the Sears Tower. But you could see that real quick once you got on the expressway. You'd be like, there's Chicago. But if you went the other direction, farms. Nothing but farms. Farms and farms and farms and farms as far as the eye can see. But here we have mountains. It's beautiful. Hmm. Yeah. Nature makes me happy. Nature brings me joy. Being able to connect with nature makes me joy, brings me joy. Being able to sit in nature, swim, hike, be, and just the ability to see those trees, or rather see the mountains every day is really incredible for me. It really brings me joy. Been here for going on what 8 years now, almost 7 years. Yeah, 8 years now. Has not lost its appeal. Every time I see a mountain, which isn't, I live in a valley, so every direction I look, there's a mountain. Just so wonderful. From Chicago, you could drive half an hour in any direction, and you would either be in still Chicago, you would be in the lake, or you would be in a cornfields farm, right? And here, you can drive half an hour, drive 1 hour from where you are, and you will be in a completely different environment. It is no longer urban, it is completely wild. Yep, mountains, lakes, all the goods. Speaking of which, I'm gonna start kayaking again soon. Been a little bit cold the last few months, but it's gonna get hot soon, and yeah, we're gonna be able to take advantage of that kayaking. Got some blow up kayaks. They are fantastic. Highly recommend. Like I said, we're tiny house people, so we have small space. But those kayaks, they were great. Got them real cheap on Amazon one day. Uh, Worked perfect. It worked great. Yep. Come on in, my friend. So I think I'm gonna read a book here. Not perhaps right now. Could also build a Lego. Let me know what you prefer. But I was thinking about reading either Mythosisyphus, Stranger, who's the Blade? Okay. All Sisyphus, or all Sisyphus, all Camus. Read a little existential thought. Could also read some Ayn Rand. Read the Romantic Manifesto. That's a good one. If you haven't read the Romantic Manifesto, well, all right, 10:45. An hour and 15 minutes before the appliance man is late. It's $130 just to come look at it. $40 to do like extra work on it. Is there never not extra work, right? I mean, what is that? And then the part, which from what I've read, good luck. That was what I was going to do too. I was going to look up the motor on Amazon because some of the things I've read, people are talking about. Good luck, 2 months. Which, yeah, does not surprise me. You all know about the shipping crisis currently happening in the world, right? All the boats are blocked up and locked up in port and unable to unload all their material, all their stuff, because Americans have just been buying for the last year. I am no exception. The amount of Legos in my home has increased many times. So wash motor replacement, $163. Wednesday, March 10th. Yeah, so we'll see. I sit here waiting eagerly for the appliance man. What do you think? Lego time. Give me a moment, friends. Set up auxiliary camera number 2. Well, I get set up here. Let's see what we got. Casa Encantada. It's so flippin' awesome. It really is. Legos definitely bring me joy. All right, give me a moment. I think I'm on. Or sad. Right. So, y'all should meet my dog sometime. He's down on the ground, sleeping, doing what he does. Sleeping. All right. How's the end on? Yeah. Honestly, I don't know if it's really annoying or if it's not. I'm just going with it. The little bad. All right, what we got here? Well, there is a minifigure in a wheelchair. Fantastic. Look at that. So great. Representation is wonderful. There is a video, kid show. I think it's on Netflix. I want to say a French show. I don't remember the name of it. But the little kid's in a wheelchair, zips around everywhere and has his adventures. I mean, it's wonderful. And the first time I saw him, I don't. I guess I just don't understand what would have been the problem with, me having seen that in the 80s. Why was it such a problem? Yes. Yes, I dated myself, my friends. Old. That's all right. The four of you watching, that's fine. Yeah, I don't know what people were so afraid of. Fear though. That's the problem, isn't it? Fear is the little death, the mind killer. I will allow my fear to pass through me. Name that movie. This guy here. Where? There's the other little one. These little paintbrushes. Whatever it is, it's amazing. Okay, so serious question now. Serious question. For those of you watching right now. When I was a kid, one of my favorite things to do, build my Legos and then to whip them against a wall. Would you watch me whip my Legos against a wall? No. How would you do that? Well, because, once it's built, it's built. I mean, it's fun and it's lovely and it's eye-pleasing to look at, but isn't part of the fun building it? So, yeah, so that's what I would do. I would build it and then I would whip it against the wall and then I would build it again. No, I wouldn't just whip the thing against the wall by itself. We built, cities, essentially. We built little, you hear, me here, boom, and then we threw our creations at one another and essentially dive bombed each other's cities. And here, guys. Yeah. And then from that, we decided who won based on the destruction of the other person's city. And yes, the Legos got all kinds of mixed up. We didn't care. Yeah, and then we built them again. Yeah, and we just went to town, had fun building them again, and then we destroyed them again. Did that over and over. So, who would watch me breaking bricks? Show of hands. Show of hands. Anyone? No one? Nay? Yay? Drop it in the chat box. The thumbs up. Man, today's gonna be a great day. A lovely day. It already is. To hang out with friends that I don't even know yet because I haven't even, met any of my internet friends. Ridiculous statement. But it is a great day. And I am happy to be sharing some of it with you all. Hopefully you're enjoying your time with me. The other day my daughter and her friends decided that they were going to mail letters. They were going to become post people. They were going to make letters for the neighborhood. Start delivering mail all over, which was fantastic. And it was adorable. And about halfway through, I realized that they kept asking for more and more and more paper. That they just kept asking for more paper. And then I was, wait, are you guys actually delivering mail around the neighborhood, or are you just, imagination land? And oh no, we've thrown it over the walls. We're putting it in people's gates. Oh, fantastic. So they were spreading messages of love all over the neighborhood. Flowers and love. Excuse me. All over the neighborhood. But we did go collect what we could so that it wouldn't, blow all over the neighborhood and have trash. Because the post, if you were to look at it without opening it up, you might think that it was trash indeed. It was not. There were messages of love inside, and it was super adorable that they were sending messages all over the neighborhood. What That one. But I get what I was gonna say about that. The appliance repairman. No, it is not. It is just a spam text message. Man, I have my real estate license here, and I get put on so many lists because I'm a realtor. No. Well done, this time. Used to pieces. There's one. All right. So breaking bricks. I think I'm gonna break some bricks. Just can't decide which one to do first. Got a lot to choose from. Hey friend. Hey friend. Hey friend. Oh, see, haha, voices. Always making voices. I'm quite weird. So when they were making all the letters and all the posts, they always ask us, where we want things delivered and what we want, what we want. So we make up various voices, as we are wont to do, since we are actors and just play with our voices a lot. So I can't even remember. I can't even remember what I did. No, it wasn't that. It was yeah, what I want you to do is I want you to take this one down there. I want you to go down to the Johnson's house and down at the end of the block and take it. And I just started doing all this like weird. I don't even know what it was. But that's what I was doing. And her friend's mouth was like, "What's going on? What are you doing with your voice?" I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we play with our voices here. So we just make up random weird accents that aren't even accents or what. I just, we have fun." And then I did, did the little Russian accent. I said, what the Russian would do that for you. But it was fun to hear, to see the wonder sparked suddenly that like, wait a second, what? What are you doing? Yeah, I'm telling you, man, our neighbors gotta think we're weird. That's why we go over there and we talk to them and we tell them like, hey, you're gonna hear weird stuff coming from our apartment. Because you're gonna hear weird voices. You're gonna hear multiple accents coming from our apartment. And no, the Russian mafia is not in our apartment. You don't have to worry. But it may sound like it one day. I may have to tell you. I don't know if I'm doing right. I can't do Russian today. What's your favorite accent? Do you have a favorite accent out in the world when you hear it? I just love the Irish. You know what you're gonna do. I mean, I am a Murphy, so Murphy, Murphy, Murphy. Hey, but I just love the Irish. It's such a wispy quality to it. Such a breathy, such a fun. What you doing there? Gonna turn the page? It's not even close to being done. Why are you doing that? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Just waiting here for the guy. Just waiting here for the guy. The appliance repair guy. Where is he, I wonder? Has he finished his next thing? What's he doing in the world? Hey. What are you going to do today to make sure it's a great day, friends? Have you set yourselves up for success? I put in intention behind the day, and what a wonderful day it will be if we make it. No, I'm not trying to look through the world with rose glasses too. I know some of us have real pressing concerns that make it very hard to be happy in this exact moment. Appreciate that. It is in those moments that we can focus on ownership of ourselves and our bodies and our feelings, understanding that they are instantaneous reactions that happen in our body that we can control and breathe through and manage. This morning, my wife got an email about having a student not wanting to come to class today because of social anxiety. Because they were going to be hearing themselves today in class. Get it? Get it? Do you like hearing your own voice? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Yeah. If I was a betting man, I would say you do not. I would say you do not. I have rarely met anyone who enjoys hearing the sound of their own voice played back to them. And this includes, singers who have stunning voices. But we don't hear ourselves the way other people hear us. And when we hear it played back to us, it sounds foreign. It does not sound the way that we sound in our head. We hear ourselves internally, and the world hears us externally. And that's a difference. It matters. And it freaks us out when we hear it back to ourselves. Yep, I'm no different. Prefer, do I have to hear it? No. We good? Can I move on? All right. Yeah, and many of the courses I teach, for sure, the vocal work. When we talk about acting for non-majors, for new actors, we can break it down into the mind, the body, the voice. What are we doing with our mind? What does the character want? How are they going to get what they want in the world? What stands in their way? Their body, is their body connected? What are you doing with your body, right? You're not awkwardly doing things that aren't connected. We have to have the whole message, right? Our bodies, our voice, and then our voice. So what is your voice? How does it sound? What is this instrument? And again, this is one of those things in life that as I get older, I think it's more important that some of the things we learn in school, is what I'm trying to say, that we should perhaps focus on other things. To the fact that no one really knows or understands how to use their body, proper posture. I didn't. How to use their voice is amazing, because we should. Because it's yours for life, right? You don't really get to change your voice. You don't get to change your body much, and you can do some cosmetic stuff now. But right, what you got is what you got. You can physically shape your body through exercise, of course, and if you're lucky enough to be in a position to be able to do that. But our voices, right? That's one constant through most of our lives, and yet most of us do not know how to even use the instrument that is the main instrument by which we communicate with the world. So, students invariably hate. They hate the vocal section of the semester. They're by far their least favorite. They do not want to hear themselves. They do not want to journal about their voices. It's always the shortest, and the journals are always consistent. No, didn't like it. Didn't like this week. Yeah, don't like hearing myself. No. I get it. Get it, friends. Or why public speaking is such an issue, right? Because people don't want to. They don't have confidence in their voice. Not that they can't speak, and it's not that they can't produce the sound, because we know they can. We are masters at making sounds when we are born, when we're babies. We're masters at it. We can cry all day, all night, and never lose our voices because we move the sound from a diaphragm, right? We just bounce that sound right here off our diaphragm all the time, right here, our belly. Yep, bounce that sound off our belly. We do that all day long, no problem. But once we've developed muscles and we don't have to have technique anymore, just like posture, once we can fight gravity and we don't have to balance, once we can physically hold ourselves up off the ground, we no longer need to have proper posture, because we're not trying to balance in the world, we're holding ourselves up with muscles. And by doing that, we're taking away from the balance that we once used to feel and once used to achieve. And it is that same thing with our voice. When we are little, we know our voice very well. We are very connected to it. We understand how it works. We experiment with it all the time to make the sounds that we make in the world. And then guess what happens? Don't talk too loud. You're talking too loud. Shh. Quiet. Don't talk too loud. You're talking too loud. Shh. Quiet. Don't speak until spoken to. I need you to be quiet. Can you be quiet? Can you calm down? Is it any wonder why the vast majority of adults don't like their voice, don't like what they hear? Any wonder? Not. There's no wonder. And again, I'm no different. I just happen to have gotten over the fear of whatever it is that other people hear when I'm doing what I do. Tried to learn how to use the instrument that I've been given. How's it going out there in the world, friends? Oh, you want to see the awesomeness? That's right. Shaboom. Boom. I got my new ring. I got my silicone ring from Groove Life. Fantastic. This thing is great. Let me show you here. Let's see. I don't know if you can really see that, but it is. Yeah, it's like blue and copper looking. It's great. Our wedding rings that we got wood rings that were made for us, one of a kind. They were wonderful. We still have them. They're fragile. They're wood. Mine was 5,000-year-old bog wood. Survived in a bog for 5,000 years, and then it met Happy Murphy. So, you get them. They're one of a kind. They're very affordable as well. Very, very affordable. You help an artist out by getting them. Wood rings they're so fantastic. But it does come with some care, and it's not that you have to even necessarily care for the ring. You rub it a little bit with some bamboo oils and stuff occasionally. But what you don't want to do is you just don't want to wear it. I'll leave that there for you. You don't want to wear it hiking when you're going to scrape your ring against rocks and we just took off the protective coating, which is what you're warned against doing. And then the minute we did that, and we knew the minute we did that, it's over, right? The minute you let the moisture in, it's over. That bogwood survived in an anaerobic environment for 5,000 years in England, and then it met me. Sorry. Yeah, we still have them, and we still love them, and they're wonderful. But we just don't wear them anymore because they're not going to make it. And again, we knew when we bought them that they had a time limit. We knew they were wood. We knew there would be a time when we would that we would retire them. We just didn't think it would be as quick as it was. We have no one to blame but ourselves. Little brick. I had a South Park song in my head this morning. I woke up with the South Park movie song in my head, which is fantastic and random. How fun was that? I don't even know all the lyrics to that song. Just the opening song. This is a day when it's hard to wear a bra, even though the temperature's down. Something like that. Hmm. So, my heart. I got a follower. I'm so appreciative of you. Thank you. I just see the notification now. That is wonderful. I appreciate you spending some time with me. And yeah, thanks. That's amazing. Because you're my first one, which is like a big deal. Because I will always remember my first. All right, that got creepy. Ah! Oh, I'll tell you, dude. I'll tell the story about that one day if you want. I don't know what you all, but that's a funny story for me. My gosh, kids will be kids, won't they? Um, but yeah, oh my gosh, I'm humbled right now. I'm so thankful. It's great. I appreciate you. You must be weird like me. That's part of it, right? Part of it is just embracing you're weird, embracing who you are, because that is what makes you you, and that is the wonderfulness that is you. No one else sees the world like you do. So bring it and show it. Right? That's what the theater's all about. When people talk about, what makes a good actor, what makes a compelling actor, what is it that you want to watch? You want to watch someone who owns themselves. They own their impulses. They own what happens in their brain when they receive an input from the outside world. Right? They don't try to make their impulse fit into the world that they live in. They don't try to make their impulse something that other people want to ingest, something that other people are expecting. Right? They take it and they turn it into themselves, because that is then unexpected to us. Because nobody has anger. Nobody angers to turn it into a verb. Nobody angers the same way. No one loves the same way. No one cries. Any vulnerability, disappointment, elation. None of those things we do the same. Now, if you watched one of my other streams, I talked about that the common effector patterns, they're called, the common neurological patterns that happen when we emote. And yes, those are very common across the human species, as it were. But that is not to say that the individual expression of that is the same, right? Our heart rates may increase, our pupils may dilate, and our stance may go up and back across the board. But what that looks like for us is totally individual. The sound that comes out of us, totally individual. And when we embrace that, that is what is compelling. That is what we want to watch. And that's what keeps us coming back. Yep. All right, 11:15. 45 minutes till the appliance repairman. In the window, anyway. All right, so now I have a feeling that I forgot something. When I was just talking there, I moved ahead to the next picture in my haunted house. If you haven't seen it yet, that is what it will look like. So flippin' cool. What are these ice cream cone looking things here? One there. One there. So South Park, I woke up, I was going to tell you the South Park story because I woke up with that in my head, which was a change. Because what have I woken up with in my head for the last year? Quite literally almost every day. It has started to not infest my brain as much, but certainly over the last year. Just any guesses? Any takers? Any candlestick makers? Hamilton, because he knows what to do in the trench ingenuitive and fluid in French. You're going to have to use them eventually. What's he going to do on a bench? No one has more resilience or matches my practical tactical brilliance. You want to fight for your land back? I need my right-hand man back. Yep. You got to put some thought into the letter, but the sooner the better to get your right-hand man back. Yeah, Alexander Hamilton. Yep. It's just brilliant. It's a brilliant piece of writing. It's a brilliant piece of music. Yep. But I feel the same way about the Book of Mormon. So if you don't know the Book of Mormon, it is just the perfect musical. It's everything. It is just a coming of age story. It's irreverent. It's funny. It's wise. It's silly. It's shocking, it's jarring, it makes you think, it makes you ponder. It's so good. Much like most everything that the two boys do, right? Trey and Matt. Man, I'm a big fan. Seems that whatever they do turns to gold. If you haven't seen Cannibalism or Cannibal the musical, so good. Their original. I don't know if they shot it. Excuse me, in college. Um, using their using their cheap old camera stuff. It's so good. It's so B movie, and it is so good. You can tell the talent's there, the music's there, and the comedy is there. Yep, it's all a precursor to what they're going to give the world in the form of South Park, and then multiple movies, which uh, Team America, baby. Woo, hold on. Well, that's how you know you're done. That's how you know you're done with coffee, right? That coffee hit my belly. Thought I was gonna puke on camera. Ooh, all right. Well, that's good. No more of that, my lord. No more. All right. So, um, oh gosh, what was I just saying? What was I just talking about? Oh god, what was I just talking about? South Park? Something about South Park? Oh, Team America. Yes, Team America. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Um, so on, I flippin' love. I love the movie Team America. I think it is so funny. I think it is so well written. I don't well, not well written. Just the music is so funny. It's just so funny. And it, if you don't know, it's a puppet. It's a puppet movie. So as a craftsman, I appreciate the fact that they employed hundreds of craftspeople doing the specialized work that they love to do, making miniature costumes, miniature sets, the puppets, all of it. It was just such a wonderful opportunity for these people to get to practice this craft on a scale that they would rarely ever get to do. And it is marvelous because of that. But then it's also incredibly funny, and just a wonderful. It's just a funny, funny movie. So I, of course, have the soundtrack. Back in my day, well, we used to get these things called we used to get these things called tape, cassette tapes, but now CDs. We would have CDs. Now the CD would have little numbers on it. All right, so we had the soundtrack. I had a CD of it. This is before an iPod, I believe. I definitely fought that MP3 thing yeah, I didn't want to convert all my stuff into a little tiny thing that had all of my music on it. I don't know why I wanted to carry around books and books of CDs rather than just put them all on one little tiny convenient thing that has all of my music on it. Literally, the time when I finally did it, I was like, "What have I been doing? I'm stupid." Um, but when I asked my wife if she had ever heard of the movie Team America, my wife to be anyway, if she had ever heard of the movie Team America, and she replied with, "I own the soundtrack." Uh, let's just say that that might have been one of the moments when I did a double take at that lass. That was like the second day I met her. We had an interesting courtship, as it were. We were both actors, and we met uh, working. We met in a show, and we both lived together in cast housing. So we shared our bedrooms were right next door to each other. We literally moved in with each other the day we met. I answered the door when we saw her pulling in. We were up on the balcony. We saw another castmate pulling in. Um, she got out and said hi, and somebody knew who she was, so they said who it was, and I was excited because I was going to get to tango with this person in the show. I was going to get to learn to tango, and I'd never tangoed before. I'd never learned to tango before, and this was a new skill that I was going to get to learn, which is part of what I love about the theater and I love about being an actor, is that it forces you to learn new things, learn new skills. Great, you got a role now. It requires you to go learn, a little bit of math, a little bit of fundamental particle physics here or something. If you're, you know, oh god, it's not Heisenberg. It's the name of the play. No, can't think of it. But either way, it forces you to learn new skills, and that is what is there we go. So two of these. What is fantastic about it? So I had to go learn how to tango, and I opened the door all excited to get to tango with her, and I told her I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna tango, yeah!" And he kind of looked at me like, That's great. Okay, I'm tangoing, yay. Look, you know, she was a tango. She danced, so it was not exciting to her. It was just another dance. But whatever. I was excited. I was excited. And more importantly, she found my excitement adorable, right? So her first impression of me was, oh, he's adorable. That's always a good sign. Um, and yeah, so we basically moved in with each other on the day we met, which is a little bit strange, admittedly. And we tangoed, and we have never stopped tangoing, which is kind of cool. Which is kind of cool. All right, what do we got? Where does this stuff come from, right? Where does it even come from? That was Little Mermaid. What? What? Brains are fascinating. Oh no! See, and if I had withheld my impulse just now, not made the sound, we could not have shared the moment thinking about the Little Mermaid and reminiscing about how weird brains are and that they just make thoughts that come into our bodies and bleep, there it is, Little Mermaid. What? Where'd you come from, Little Mermaid? Where you been hiding? You still up in there, Sebastian? All right, let's do it. That's fine. There we go. What a great morning to hang out with you. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Am I building here? I don't know. Building a wall. I hear a voice. I see a voice. That's what it is. We'll have to go over some Midsummer Night's Dream for you all sometime. Because it's flipping funny. And funny is always funny, right? Like if you're funny, it's funny, it's funny. Now, you might not have heard it presented in a funny manner. That is perhaps not the fault of the material as much as operator error. Because if in fact you have heard Pyramus done well, you will laugh. Yeah, another thing that I'm grateful for. Uh, I'm grateful that I still, like I said before, about the 7 years, the 8 years now that I've been here, and I love looking at the mountains. Man, I'm also loving the weather still. It gets hot here in the summertime, but you know what? It is not bad, and it is no worse than it is no worse than 0 degrees. It is no worse than 20 degrees. It is no worse than -degrees. It is no worse than any of that. These? No, no. So yeah, I love the weather here, and I was just thinking that the windows are open. It's beautiful. I hear birds chirping. It's just so lovely. Breeze is blowing. I thought that Oh, there's probably places right now in America that it's still cold outside right now, like unbearably cold outside. And I just don't miss that right now. When we were on tour together, when I was on tour in Sierra Vistas, I want to say, by Yosemite, perhaps. Some kids at this high school said they were going to go to the snow. I did a double take on that language. I said, "Go to the snow." What do you mean, go to the snow? Like you're going to go to the snow? Like the snow's not going to come to you? Snow's not going to dump on you, and you're going to have to dig your car out, or it's going to be stuck in the same place for 4 months. Like you can go to it. It doesn't come to you. As a concept, I had never considered that a possibility. So when I heard about that possibility, I was in. Say no more. Let's go. I'm good. Yep. So here where I live, you can definitely go to snow. Um, and I don't mind snow. I don't mind the ability to go to snow. Nope. Yep. I don't mind the heat yet. It is just fine. Now we'll see. Climate change may change that quickly. We'll see. Last summer was pretty hot, pretty hot, and it would be easier. Speaking very openly, I think it would be easier if I didn't have a child who wants to play outside a lot, and as every child should want and does want, um, but that they're specifically when she was like 3, like 2, 3 years old, those periods of really physical growth and exploration that we were not able to go outside or go play at a playground, let's say, for 4 or 5 months, um, because it's super hot out. Whereas if we were in a colder climate, we would be able to go outside. We would just have to bundle up and go into the snow. But that said, right? Only, I mean, if it's 0 degrees outside, if it's 20 degrees outside, it's not really enjoyable, right? If the snow is not, if it's hard, compact, that wasn't fun. I remember the last years that I lived in Chicago, it was not fun. The snow was not a source of joy; it was a source of frustration. Um, and then as a kid, I remember it used to snow, and then it did not snow anymore. It just kind of iced and don't knock me over! Oh no! Don't knock! What do we got? Right? Build another wall. What do we got here? All right. I get. Let's see here. You on? You on? Thought the appliance man was here. He is not. At 11:30. Let's build a wall, my friend. Okay. So, what else do you want to talk about? What should we talk about? What's next, my friends? Doesn't All right, not sure why they did this, but whatever. So, making it weird instead of just giving us 3 twos and ones is what it is. Happy day, happy day. Thinking in this moment about how I can spend most of my day just being silly in my brain and, you know, having a positive outlook on the world and having a good day. Some of my friends actually spend a good portion of their day wondering if their loved ones will be burning in hell after they die. It's a hard turn for me there. Um, yeah, they spend some of their days wondering. I spend none of my day, my friends, wondering if anyone I love will be suffering at the hands of an eternal being after we die. You don't have to either. If you do, you don't have to. Because you're already not worrying about 10,000 different other afterlives, you're only worrying about the one. So I just don't worry about that one too. So it's actually very easy to not worry about it. And I don't mean to say that it's easy. I understand how ingrained these things can be. But yeah, as I'm sitting here just being silly and being happy and, having a happy affect and just doing my thing here, just popped in my head that, I know a lot of people are not blessed with a um, with a neurology that makes them, have a naturally positive outlook into the world. Right there, great. And I did definitely win that genetic lottery. Always been a happy guy. Always been happy, hence the nickname. And there you go. Very confused. No, see, that's not what's happening. Gotta be. All right. What was I talking about, friend? Sorry, I had a brain fart. Couldn't figure out where I was, what I was looking at. What the hell am I looking at? You're looking at now. Everything that's happening now is happening now. What happened to then? We passed it. When? Just now. When will then be now? Soon. Name that movie. That's an easy one. That's a giveaway, my friends. Gimme. So, on the topic of mental illness, I, part of my happy affect in life is not all it's not all happy days, man. It's not all happy days, my friend. Yep. I suffer like so many others of us from an atypical mind, and it can help me hyper focus on some things, which can be good in life, and help me achieve some tasks. But that hyper focus also has some detriments to it. Yeah, and my natural, not exuberance, but my natural energy level also has some affects my brain because it's always made me not feel the same. It's always made me feel different from people because I know I talk faster and I move faster than anyone I really typically meet. And that has always ostracized me. It's always made me feel like an other. And I've I've had issues, mental things that I've had to work out because of that. And um, yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is that it's not, happiness is not just an always on switch that I have at all. I wish it was, but it's not. It is something that I work on every day. It is something that I work to maintain every day. It is something I try to maintain every day. Okay. Um, but it is definitely not something that happens every day by chance. Right? I definitely did not get born with a pessimistic attitude. Right? Like I said, I won that lottery. That I was born with a naturally optimistic attitude towards life, and finding joy in things rather than fear. And I know that that was through oh, no choice of my own. But the other things, yeah, I prefer not to have. Yep, I would prefer not to ruminate. I'd prefer to sleep better. Um, but what are you gonna do? We get what we get, and we don't throw a fit. Quote the children. No, you gotta make do, right? You don't. We don't get to choose the source or the place at which we enter this world, and we need to make do with what we got, right? We got to move forward in the world. Um, so I wish I could say that the case was that I was always happy and always sunny in Philadelphia. Um, alas, that is not the case, and it takes work. Yep. But like any other habit in life, um, if you work at the habit of happiness, guess what? You pick it up. You pick it up. Yep. And every day it can be a little easier to get back to that happy place. To remind yourself of um, of how it was, perhaps when it was not so happy. Right. That negative contemplation, which is just so important. Um, to having a happy outlook in this life is to realizing, that you can't take it with you, and that all that exists is this present moment, not the future, not the past, just right now. And the ability to live in that moment is where happiness lies. The ability to be in that moment as uncomfortable as the moment it might be, where happiness lies. Right? Even if you're not happy, even if the moment is tragic in that moment, but being in that moment and living in that moment, right? That is where happiness lies, on the other side of that moment. Not living in that moment, not addressing that, not taking part in that grieving process, not taking part in, if we're talking of loss, um, not being present in the world for that, not letting your body and your brain experience those things, does not happiness lie, right? Being present, being with us, and experiencing. They are not paint rolls set non sequitur. They are, in fact, lanterns, my friends. Um, yeah. Yep. So that is where happiness lies. It lies in this present moment, and acceptance of this moment, and knowing that's awesome. Look at that thing. And knowing that this moment is just this moment, it is not forever, and in fact, we can change the next moment that we're going to have. When you do that, you can start to create the world that you want to live in. Because that is something that I have been somewhat good at in my life, um, in creating the life I want to have, in creating happiness in my life, in choosing happiness over many other things. The three P's, right? People, pay, and projects. Should you take a job? Well, people, pay, and projects. Do you like the people? Do you like the pay? Do you like the project? I mean, if it's all three, obviously. Um, but if it's two of the three, you'll probably be happy, right? Probably can do it. Um, if you like the people and the pay, you don't particularly like the project, that's okay. The people and the pay will make up for it. And if you like the project and the people, you don't like the pay so much, right? Well, the project and the people are what makes up for it. I mean, most of that describes theater and acting, right? That it's the, that's not going to pay much, but the project and the people, that's what it's all about. Making memories, right? Not making stuff. Um, yeah, I just started thinking about theater. I miss theater. Yeah, I miss sharing the air with people and telling narratives and telling stories on stage. Soon enough, my friends. Soon enough. All right, I'm actually going to end the stream now, my friends. I appreciate you all very much for being here. I appreciate my one new follower today. You have made my day, and I appreciate that more than you know. That is so fantastic. I'm glad you will join me on my journey. And please reach out to me and let me know how you maintain happiness in this world, practical strategies for happiness in this world. What brings you joy? What do you work at to bring more joy into your world? Are we going to leave this world a better place than you came into it? I appreciate you. Until next time, friends.